Now, I know the Nintendo Switch 2 came out today. A lot of people are talking about it. A lot of people have the Nintendo Switch 2. I decided to make a video about how I will not be buying the Nintendo Switch 2 right away. Okay, for a few reasons. Okay, let me explain. The first reason and foremost is probably because my Nintendo Switch 1 works just fine, better than fine. It's in what I would consider to be excellent condition, and whenever I do play Nintendo Switch games, I really have no problem with it. A lot of Nintendo Switch games I play these days are like indie titles for the Nintendo Switch. Every now and then I'll play the main title. Like I think the last main title I played was either Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild or Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu. And by main title, I mean titles by Nintendo themselves. Because some could argue that the Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevees were sort of side titles in the Pokemon universe. So I'm not talking about all that. I'm not here to debate about that. A lot of this I did cover in my video about owning a Nintendo Switch in 2025. So feel free to watch that video if you want for a more in-depth of my reasons. But I personally don't think there are a lot of games out for the Nintendo Switch 2. Now watch if I did end up getting one in X amount of time. Watch me eat my words. But as of right now, there aren't really many games out for the Nintendo Switch 2. Now, with that said, the new Pokemon game, I think it's Pokemon Legends Z2A or something like that, it's going to be available on the Switch 2 in October of 2025, this year, when I'm recording this. But it's also going to technically be available on the Switch 1. So it will technically be available on this device here. So you don't need to rush and upgrade. Now, I'm pretty sure it will perform better on the Switch 2. That's usually how hardware works. It would be surprising if it wasn't. And for all I know, that's what set the other Pokemon back. Remember, some of the older Pokemon games on the Switch don't have, they're glitchy somewhat and whatnot. Maybe it's a hardware issue. Maybe the Switch 2 fixes all that. So I feel like you should. Now, I'm giving you my opinion of this. My opinion, for me personally, I won't be getting a Switch 2 right this second. Okay. I'll probably be waiting till, if I do get one, maybe it will be in late September, October, maybe even December, maybe even next year. I'll make a video when I get it, and the video will be like, oh yeah, I got a Nintendo Switch 2. But right now, I do not see myself going out and getting one for a few reasons. Everything I mentioned so far, plus the fact that if you didn't pre-order, you're paying almost double for it, like on eBay or something from a third-party seller. So, yeah, if it's worth it to you, I'd say go ahead. If it's really worth it to you. But for me personally, I can only see it at truly worth possibly paying double for or going out and finding it right now. If you play first party titles, okay, like we're talking mostly first party Nintendo titles, because your typical indie Nintendo games will most likely be on Switch 1, and Nintendo first party titles, as in titles made by Nintendo or licensed, or Nintendo had a part in the development, are the titles that are going to probably take the most advantage of the Nintendo Switch 2 hardware, if that makes sense. Now, there is also the aspect of taking it on the go. The screen is bigger than this. The Joy-Cons are bigger than the Joy-Cons, and the Joy-Cons also attach magnetically on the Nintendo Switch 2. So if those appeal to you and those are worth paying a premium price for, let's say, then go for it. At the end of the day, it's what makes you happy. But I do want to put a word of caution, okay? If you're buying a Nintendo Switch 2 from a third-party seller online, like on eBay or something like that, be careful, okay? I recommend you read the reviews, read how many star ratings they have, all that stuff. So, yeah, definitely be careful. Make sure you're not getting scammed. Make sure it's for the whole thing and not just for the picture or for the empty box or anything like that. If you're worried about any of that, I recommend you wait. It could be a while. I don't know how many units Nintendo ordered or anything like that, honestly. But I'm personally waiting to get a Nintendo Switch 2. It's not on my priority list at the moment. I thought it was for the longest time, I really did. But then I realized that there's a lot of other stuff I need to get and save up for before that. So I do plan to eventually get a Nintendo Switch 2. Just I'm not going to break my neck to go out and get right now. That's all I'm saying, guys. That's all I'm saying. But yeah, I'd love to know your thoughts on the matter. Are you guys going to go out get a Switch 2? Are you going to go keep your Switch 1? Are you going to just buy a Switch 1 because you don't have a Switch 2? Now, that is technically an option. If you want to get like a Switch Lite or something to hold yourself off until you can buy the Switch 2, you'll still be able to play Nintendo first-party title games, since most of them, if not all of them, well, definitely most of them, releasing for the Nintendo Switch 1 and 2. So I guess you could probably go out get a Lite for around 150 used, I believe 150, or maybe new closer to 200, or something like that. And then that could hold you over till like maybe the holidays, where you are more likely to be able to splurge a bit and get, if it's even in stock then. I don't know. I will put links in the description below to where you can find them on Amazon and stuff. So definitely, if you're in the market for Switch Lite, Switch OLED, Switch 1, then there you go. If you think you can wait without playing any Nintendo stuff and whatnot, the Switch 2 seems to be worth the wait. I mean, from what I've seen, technically games do seem, from my experience, cost a bit more on the Switch 2 than on the Switch 1, which is a con, but I feel like everything else is a pro. But if you have a Switch 1, me personally, I find it okay to just sit back, take a breather. But that's just me. I'd love to know your thoughts on the matter. And with that said, I will catch you guys in the future. Later.